Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to class. Thanks for being here this morning. So taking just a moment to settle into your seat. I'm on a cushion, just whatever would make you comfortable. A little back and forth on your sit bones and then finding a happy spot in the middle. And then a little back and forth, front and back. Also finding that spot in the middle. And then out of that firm triangular base, letting your spine lift. Think of being one of those lamps that has the base in front and the lamp stand at the back. And that's how your spine is just lifting out of that heavy base at the front. This is also can be, of course, done sitting in a chair for a moment before you begin the practice, just to let your legs relax completely. So bringing your hands into the heart, Anjali Mudra. Take a gaze down to the floor for a moment, and then consider letting your eyes close completely. Without changing it, just noticing the breath. Feel the chest underneath your thumbs. Feel it rise and fall with each breath. And let the exhale get a little bit longer. That will create that space for more of an inhale. Exhale commands how we breathe. Exhaling out fully, maybe even at the bottom of the exhale, a little tug to your belly, making sure all the breath is out, and then inhaling. So a few more just conscious breaths. With gratitude, we salute all the great yoga masters, past and present. A special prayer of thanksgiving for Baba Hari Das. With joy, we recognize the excellent wisdom teachings of yoga. And with vigor, we dedicate ourselves to self-transforming practice. So every day, being conscious, what do you need for self-transformation? Letting the thoughts just rush in for a moment. And then prioritize, what do you really need today for self-transformation? I am gentle, I am kind, I am patient, I am expansive, I am curious. What do you need? Form it into a positive sentence, and then repeating it to yourself 3 times, a sankalpa, a sacred vow. And then letting that vow drop down into your heart space as we chant together one Om, signifying the beginning, the end, and everything in between, all of creation. Exhaling the breath out, and then a nice inhale to chant. Om. And then using an inhaled breath to flutter your eyes open. Just bringing the hands for a moment down to the knees. Just letting your arms relax. So just hands are relaxed. Try not to grip your knees. Just relax your hands, relax your elbows, relax your arms. And then think of the trunk behind you. So all of your spine moving all the way up through the crown of your head. So just thinking of that space for a moment in the very back of the body. And then let yourself just tilt a little to the left sit bone. And then to the pubic bone, to the front a little, just a tiny bit. To the right sit bone. And then to the back, to the tailbone. So making that diamond shape for just a moment, 2 more times in that direction. Then let's switch directions. Let's go back. Right sit bone, pubic bone, sit bone, back in the other direction. Taking the whole trunk with us, our arms are heavy. Good, just waking everything up from the very bottom of the body. Good, okay? And then find yourself nice and tall for a moment. And then on your next exhale, just feel your belly come to the spine. And as you inhale, release it. Just a couple of belly breaths. Inhale, exhale, belly to spine. And inhale, release it. Just stimulating that area of Svadhisthana. Exhale, belly to spine. Inhale, release it. And one more. Exhale, belly to spine. Nice and soft and gentle. Inhale, release it. Good. And then moving up to the belly button area. Just think about your belly button. And we're going to go in that same circle, but this time I want you to pull your belly as you come back and relax your belly as you go forward. So pull the belly as you come back and relax the belly as you go forward. Good. Just moving right into that area of Manipur, back on the spine. Just stimulating the spine in that direction. Other way, let's head in the opposite direction. Belly to spine, then release the belly. Belly to spine, and release the belly. Good. One more circle. And then again, coming upright. So let's move into the area now for a moment on a hot, thinking about our heart space. It's right at the very base, toward the base of our sternum, that whole area. And for this, we're going to just open our arms. And then grab a beach ball. So an imaginary beach ball. So opening the arms and holding a beach ball. So think about the space behind your heart, all the way back in your spine. So being compressed for a moment and being opened and stretched. Being compressed for a moment, working in that area on a hot. And coming back and coming open. 2 more times, opening and compressing, moving the spine. Your Ana Maya Kosha, our physical body, having an impact all the way down through the koshas, through the chakras. Good. And then just relaxing for a moment. And then now moving into Vishuddha. So think about it being in the back of your neck, in your spine, so right along your spine. But we're going to use our throat. So just put your finger for a moment right in the very dimple of your throat. Just kind of notice that space. And then just imagine right behind that. So just moving your neck from one side to the center, nice and slowly, to the other side and to the center. And then maybe let your other hand rest right behind your neck, right behind your hand. So you can feel that little bit of pressure happening in your spine as you move your neck. Good. And then coming back into the center and just being still for a moment. And then we're going to take our thumb. We're just going to make a circle right at the space between our third eye. Right at our third eye, space between your eyebrows. Just making a circle. Agnya, about 3 fingers in, which we can't get there, but we're putting a little bit of pressure there, bringing awareness there. We've gone up the spine from Muladhara Chakra all the way through the chakras to Agnya right now. So a little bit more, opening up that space. And then think about the top of your head for a moment. Just think about it. Our many petaled lotus blossom lying right over our head. Okay, and then just releasing your hands back down to your knees for a moment. And just imagining that crown of a lotus just opening, just in your imagination, just flower petals all through your head opening, receiving whatever the universe has to give you today. Just feeling the flower petals opening, nourishing, and all the way from the base of your spine, through the spinal cord, all the way up. You can even imagine a divine white light coming right up the center of your body. Doesn't need to follow the curves of your spine. You're much more than your physical body. And just bringing your awareness there for a moment. The light body that is within you, our subtle body. And then using an inhaled breath, we're going to open our eyes again. And then just feeling how you feel in your body for a moment. Just with a really nice, gentle walk up the spine. Does your body feel more open? Does your mind feel more open? Do you feel more open? Okay. Let's move over onto our hands and knees. Do a little bit of cat. Just bringing that awareness, keeping it in the thought of the spine for a moment. And how our lumbar curve and our cervical curve make that dip toward the earth. And our thoracic curve makes the dip toward the ceiling. So just those curves, and we're going to take them all in the opposite directions as we move into cat pose, Vidalasana. So as we exhale, pull the belly to the spine and arch the spine toward the ceiling. Curl the toes under. And then lay the toes out and come in the opposite direction. Nice and slow. Follow your breath. Let your breath be the guide. However slow your inhale and exhale are, let that be your guide. You can go a little bit more quickly or a little bit slower, just following your own breath. Two more. And then finding yourself in neutral. Space you for a moment. We're going to thread the needle. We're going to do it really kind of slowly. So we're going to reach the right arm out to the side. Just reach the arm out. Press into the left hand on the floor. Press into your feet and your legs behind you. And then very gently threading the needle behind your hand, underneath your arm, resting on the side of your head. You can always put a block or a pillow underneath your head. And then let's take our left hand to our sacrum, just to the sacrum. Notice how your left shoulder is open toward the left wall. And then consider for a moment just reaching your arm down along your spine. Your hand will be facing the left wall, thumb is facing your head. And then bring the arm up toward the ceiling. Just reaching into the arm, pressing into the floor with your feet and your legs. And then gently letting the left arm come down in front of your face. Stack your elbow right over the wrist, then press into the floor and come up. Opening again out to the right side. Nice and slowly. Good. And then coming back into our table. Good. Okay. So now let's go in the opposite direction. So we're going to open out to the left. Go ahead. Just open your arm out toward the left. Good. Press into your right hand on the floor. Look to the left. And then weaving the hand. Watch the hand with your gaze underneath and over as you rest now on the left side of your head. Press into the feet and the knees and the legs equally. You can stay right here. This is a perfect place to stay. Or you can bring your hand to your sacrum. And one side, it may feel more comfortable than the other. So it just depends. If you took your hand to your sacrum, you're going to reach the hand along with the palm facing the right side, and then lift the arm up toward the ceiling. Feet and knees pressing into the floor evenly, and then hand right in front of your face. Stack the elbow on top to give it a lot of space and momentum, and then coming up slowly, opening again out to the left. Good. And then hand coming back in. And then take a cat arch for a moment. Curl your toes under. And let's take the arch. And just being there for 2 or 3 breaths. Really pressing into the floor. Good. And then we're going to press back for a moment. So we're going to press back into mountain pose, often called downward facing dog, off of our beautiful mountain. But first, let's widen our hands, get our hands really broad, the fingers really far away from one another, our elbows moving in so that we could go back and down at any point in time. And then we're going to shift our weight back. My knees are deeply bent. I'm looking for a diagonal line from my tailbone to the crown of my head. My knees are deeply bent. And because this is an inversion, we're going to come walking now right to the front. If you are not inverting, come out of it. Bring yourself into a, often called a flat back, which just means as parallel to the floor as you can with your spine. Let your arms just hang for a moment. Good. And then bring your hands to right above the knees. Look forward slowly as you begin to find a seat. So just looking for chair. Pull the belly into the spine. Find that imaginary chair right behind you. And then let's just bring the arms in front, or maybe keep them right on the knees. And you can also consider taking them behind you and opening your heart. Take one more breath. Exhale, belly to spine, and then inhale up. Good. Everybody good? Okay. So let's work a little bit on balance this morning. Just bringing ourselves fully into balance. Okay. So just finding ourselves in space. Good. Because I just traveled, my inner ear is a little weird. And so I'm going to have my support here in case I need it. For those of you who travel often, know it's like sometimes, whoa, after a day or two off the plane. Okay, so let's start with finding our heels behind our second, third toe crease so that we really have our legs comfortable and our knees are headed to the front. So we're not externally rotating our legs in any fashion. Good. And so initially, we're going to lift the toes. So you really know when you're pressing into your toes and when you're not doing so, okay? And then come up on the ball of the foot for just a sec. Just kind of roll up to the ball. Not very far, yeah. Good. And then you can lay your toes down, but what we want to avoid is gripping with our toes. So we're going to come up onto the ball of the foot. The toes are just in front. Good. And then lower, nice and slow. Let's bring our hands into this little mudra for a moment. Okay. Come up onto the ball of the foot and slowly down. Good. Rolling up, nice and slow, and down. Again, nice and slow, and down. And this time when we come up, we're going to stay up for a couple breaths, nice and slow, and then down. Good. And now that we're going to add our arms, and so I want us to think about what happens when we add our arms here, if we're having that weight in front of our body, or if we add it here and having the weight beside our body. So it can feel very different. I recommend we try both for you just to check and see which feels most comfortable today. So coming up and down, nice and slowly, or coming up, whoop, coming up and down. So either one, just seeing which is best. Let's go up again. Okay. And this time we're going to stay up with our arms overhead for just a moment. Good. And then just bending your knees, just that little bend to your knees. Just try to balance on your feet for a moment. Just bending your knees. You can bring your hands together again in the mudra. And then placing our heels on the floor. Have that little seat again. Good. And then exhale up. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Okay. All right. So now we're going to go onto one leg. And so I'm going to have my hardy chair here for a moment. So we're going to bring in the left leg and initially just letting it hang like a pendulum. Good. And then we're going to externally rotate and bring it back. And externally rotate and bring it back. 2 more times. Good. And then now you're going to just play with putting your foot for a moment here. And this is just playing for a second. If this isn't comfortable, you don't have to come all the way up, and you're welcome to grab a chair or grab a wall or grab anything. So often this is our seated external rotation, right? So we're just experimenting. Good, and then let it go again. Bring it back into neutral. And then you're going to cross it over into a little bit of internal rotation. And back to neutral, internal, back to neutral, and internal, and back to neutral. And then just relax that leg. Okay, moving in now to the right leg. So just bring it up and initially just like a little pendulum, back and forth. Good. And now we're going to externally rotate. Nothing else is moving, just the leg. Externally rotate. Good. Try not to let your body go, just the leg. Good. And then we're going to just reach and see how it feels on this side. It may feel very different. One side may be super comfy and the other side might be ugh. Feel free to grab something to hold on to. Good. And then we're going to release that leg and then bring it into a little bit of internal rotation. Just to neutral. Okay. last one. Okay, and then just let that leg relax. Okay, and we're going to go back over to the left side. Right. So just deciding where we're going to take this tree pose for a moment. So you can take it right here. You can take it right here on the floor with your heel towards your ankle or right close to it, on the calf, just anywhere up the leg. Good. And you can bring it up the leg. It depends on how slick your britches are, if it'll stay there or not. Okay. So just finding where you want to be on that one side. Good. And then bringing from the foot, lift your toes, feel that whole leg energize. And then when you get to the bottom of your spine, just feeling that lift as the belly comes in, pelvic floor is in, everything is in, and you're lifting. Good. So really feeling that space in your whole spine. You're welcome to use both arms or just one arm floating up. Yeah, you're totally great. It's great to experiment with putting both arms up for a moment or not. Find a drishti that's not me, something that's not moving above your screen. And your upper hand is going to come down to your heart. Then you're going to release the leg front and center. And then extend it out and lower. Find its little spot. Good. And then just releasing for a moment. Get kind of soft and gooey for just a moment. And then we're going to go to the other side. Okay, good. So initially, externally rotating, however you want it. Good. Here, wherever you want it be. Good. And then deciding, I want to have it here, this side. You can do it completely different, wherever you want, wherever it feels good. And it may feel really different on one side, so take whatever feels the best. And then lift your toes for a moment to make sure you're really fully into the leg and the foot. So you can root down to rise up. Pelvic floor is lifted, belly's lifted. And then feeling yourself through space, just lifting up. Arm can come up nice and slowly. Good. You find your drishti, find your gazing spot. And then you might consider adding your hand or arm or not. Doesn't really matter. And then your upper hand is going to come down gently to your heart. Good. And then just release the leg back front and center. Then extend the leg out for just a moment before you release it. Good. Release your hand and then just get a little wiggly and goosey for just a sec. Okay. Good. So I'm going to suggest that we do one more balance. And it's warrior 3. It's where we are headed, right? But I don't want us to think about going immediately to warrior 3. I want us to think about Tadasana, so just finding our Tadasana. So maybe watch for just one moment where we find our Tadasana. We're going to step back just with the toe of one foot. What we want to do is pivot our Tadasana over our standing leg. So this is perfect. Just finding that we haven't lost our Tadasana. So the Tadasana is staying over the bent leg. Wherever you can find it without losing the Tadasana. So anywhere along here is perfect. But what we don't want to do is this. No big opening up, no moving into half moon, okay? So just finding, maybe I have a chair, you can have a wall in front of you, or a sofa or something that you can hold on to if you'd like. So initially, just finding ourselves in space. And then stepping back with the leg. So that tilted your Tadasana a little bit forward. So first find your Tadasana right there with that leg back so that we have that same space with the back leg. And then slowly begin to pivot over your standing leg. So the whole Tadasana body is pivoting over the head of the femur, the top of your leg bone. In that one socket, just pivoting, pivoting, pivoting. And then slowly come back up into your Tadasana. Good. And then just thinking for a moment about doing that without a prop, but only because I want us to go very small for a moment. So think about our whole body again, being the Tadasana. So the moment I step back, I have a little bit of my Tadasana. And I'm going to go up an inch or two and down an inch or two. So just learning how that rotation over the head of the femur feels. And then with the other leg, same thing. Just step back a little. The minute you step back, you need that bend right at the head of the femur. And then coming back. Keep the foot's going to face the floor. So when I'm going this way, just for you to see for a moment, that foot is facing the floor. So I'm never doing that. I'm trying my best to do that. Much better, Cam. Good. And then just coming back and finding our Tadasana for just a moment. And just building it for a moment from the ground up. So lift the toes, engage the arches, all four corners of the foot, then drape the toes down. Feel your quadriceps lift, the knees stay soft, pelvic floor lifts, transverse abdominis lifts, belly hollows out, chest soft and lifted. Good. Chin parallel to the floor. And then just drape your toes down. Just finding yourself in space for a moment. So feel the muscles that are engaged, and then let other muscles that you might not need peel off a little bit, like your arms can be heavy. You probably don't need your bottom to be gripped right now. Good. And then we're going to go back down into that chair pose for just a moment. So just feeling ourselves find that chair, that's imaginary chair that's behind you. Good. And then bring both of your elbows to right above your knees, just in that imaginary chair. Good. And we're going to add a little twist here. So I want you just to take your right elbow over to your left knee, and then bring it back. So it's a gentle little tiny twist. Left knee, left arm, right knee, then right arm, left knee, back to center, left arm, right knee, back to center. So just a little bit of thoracic twisting. One more set. Good. And then drop your hips a little bit more, just gazing forward for just that moment. And then we're going to come into a squat. So I'm going to come up onto the ball of the foot for just a moment. And if a squat's not in your repertoire today, do not worry. We're going to make our way to the floor gently. So you can come down through here and then just gently have a seat. For those of you who are squatting, just for a moment, to just sort of feel that apana vayu, that downward flow. And then we're going to help ourselves back down into a seat. Good. Extending the legs out in front. Your bottom wants a pillow on this concrete floor. Okay, so extending the legs out in front of us. Heels are not touching. Big toe knuckles are. Good. And so you're nice and tall. Find that L in your body, that right angle. Good. And then let's go ahead and draw up your right knee. Okay, so we're working at the ascending colon. So just lifting the leg into you closely so you feel pressure down at the ascending colon. And you can leave the leg here, or you can bring the foot over, whichever feels most comfortable to you, whichever one feels best to you. So this is our front flying buttress, like this, and our spine is the center of Notre Dame. So here's our flying buttress. And then I'm going to put my arm behind me. That's my other flying buttress. And then I'm going to let my shoulder and everything in between, right here from shoulder to shoulder, be the initiator of this twist. Okay. So my low back is stable and I'm twisting where I have ribs. Okay. So open and then return, twist, and return. Okay, let's coordinate our breath. Now, Babaji taught us to inhale as we're twisting so that we have something against which to resist. So inhale, twist, and lift. Exhale, return. Inhale, lift, and twist. Keep your back arm behind you and return. So we're just moving the body. Arm stays back and return. One more. Open and return. Good. And then extend that leg out. Good. Just being still for a moment, because now the transcending colon, we're going to, hopefully it moves on its way. We're going to help the descending. So now up with your left leg. And either here or over. May feel different on either side. So front leg is your flying buttress. Back arm is there and it stays. So Priti, just let your back arm stay there for a moment, okay? So that all we're doing is watch my torso for just a sec, is twisting and coming back and twisting. Right, okay? So take a nice exhale, ground down through the tail, and then inhale, lift and twist. Exhale, return. Inhale, lift and twist. Exhale, return. Lift and twist. Exhale, return, lift, and twist. Exhale, return. Last one. Lift and twist, 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 twist. And exhale, return. Good. And then extending your both legs out for just a moment. So we're going to do Paschimottanasana. We're just the forward fold for a moment, but we're going to do it kindly. We're going to take our hamstrings out of the equation. So we're going to really, the westward stretch means from our heels all the way up to the crown of our head. But we're going to bend our knees, take our hamstrings out of that equation for a moment. So we're sitting up on our sit bones. And I just want you to walk yourself forward so that your upper spine can find its natural curve, the thoracic. Chin can tuck into your chest. You can be resting on your knees. The back is rounding. And then begin to peel the chin off the chest, looking forward. So your feet are not quite together because we're going to go back for a moment and just lift our body into a reverse table. Just lift the torso. And then lower, bring the hips back. Good, nice and tall. And then we're going to come through one more time. Just nice and stretched open. Tuck the chin into the chest, round the upper back, round the spine. Pull the belly to the spine. Let everything be as round as you'd like. And then looking forward, beginning to peel the chin off the chest, looking forward, looking forward, looking forward. Coming upright first, finding that nice, tall, upright spine, and then hands back behind you, fingertips towards you or away from you, whichever feels best to you, right? And then just coming up, lifting ourselves into that reverse table for just a moment. Watch your breath in your belly. And then lower. Good. Okay. And now we're going to wiggle our way down into Shavasana. We're going to take a nice, not too long Shavasana, long enough, hopefully, for us to really let go. So finding yourself not trapped by your mat. So if your floor is warm enough, your hands can be off the mat so that your shoulders are tucked, all shoulder blades are tucked all the way underneath you. Your legs can just flop out to the side. Your breath becomes soft and shallow and just enough to sustain you. As you consciously begin to relax the body from the tip of the toes, moving up your feet, your legs, into the trunk of the body, down the arms, back up the arms, in through the chest and the crown of the head. Just letting your whole body get heavy and soft. slowly and gently becoming aware of your breath, not moving anything else for the moment. Just noticing the rise and the fall of your belly or your chest. And just like at the beginning of class, bringing your awareness to the base of the spine, the tailbone area, Muladhara chakra. Think of your spine now laying along the floor. A little bit of meat over it, but not much. Moving up a few fingers to Svadhisthana chakra. And then imagining the space behind your belly button, in the spine, on the floor. Manipur chakra. Then moving up a little underneath the sternum, over to the left a tiny bit. Just thinking of anahat. Think of the space as you're moving up between the shoulder blades until you get to the very base of your throat. We played with that space in the dimple of your throat. And now, partially off the floor, Vishuddha chakra. And then just imagining in the third eye area, 3 fingers in, Agnya chakra. And then that 1,000-petaled lotus at the crown of our head. Sahasrara. These chakras, these swirling vortexes of energy, creating movement and function in the body. Keeping them open, fluid and moving. It allows our physical body to be open and fluid and moving. Bringing your awareness into your senses, begin to wiggle your nose, mouth opening and closing, squinching your eyes closed and open. And then your ears, the hearing. You've been hearing me all along. So just the sense of touch as you realize your body is along the floor. Consider a nice big overhead stretch. And realizing how all of our information comes in through these senses. Important to keep them clean, open, able. Very gently rolling over to one side into embryo pose. Take your time. Curl up there for just a moment, all curled up, just like in the womb. And let's carefully spiral up. So taking your upper arm, hand, the hand of your upper arm, place it somewhere in front of your face. And then begin to look at the floor as you push the floor away. Now your other hand and arm can get in. Keep the chin tucked in. Slowly push the floor away. And at the very end, just setting your head at the top of the spine. Finding once more a comfortable seat. We're going to move into our 5-minute meditation. So if you have an object of concentration, bring it now into your mind, whatever it may be. And if you don't yet have one, perhaps this morning just using the syllable Om. If you can imagine the visualization of Om, the syllable of Om, the meaning of Om, and keeping your focus on Om as much as you can, holding it tightly and gently like a newborn baby. Staying with it. Your focus. Maintain. Stay with it 1 more minute. releasing your object of concentration, letting it go. Notice where the mind goes. Bringing your hands into the heart, Anjali Mudra. For just a moment, remembering your intention, your sankalpa, and repeating it to yourself 3 times as if it were already happening. Any merit we may have earned this morning in our practice of yoga, we lift it up to the welfare of all sentient beings. Any prayers or offerings that you might like to make, bring those into your mind, someone or something you're working on. And then symbolically letting those thoughts drop from our mind down into our heart space, and from our heart space into the very palms of our hands. Let's lift them up and let them go off into the universe. Just let go. Bringing the hands gently back into the heart. Hari Om Tat Sat. Namaste.